Just a second. Yeah. Yeah. So I guess we're live. So hello everyone. Welcome back to Beyond Code Conversation, an initiative by Rebase, the exclusive developer community of Retro, where we help each other grow, where we help each other find opportunities. And by the way, we also have mentors from Uber, Microsoft, Google, and the most best product startups across the globe. So if you're a developer, Rebase is the place to be. So it's free and go network with like-minded people and join Rebase today. But this session is the 19th edition of Beyond Code. Long way, right? But that's the beauty, right? You start with a dream, you nurture it, and you end up living it. And now, talking about the dream, I got to introduce you all with a guy who like who has this who has been building up dreams and has been killing it in his career. So yeah, introducing Viraj. Yeah, if I had three words, like if I had just three words to define him, I those three words would be diligence, ambition, and brilliance. I know I'm not making a hero out of him, but why do I say this is because his diligence is how he works. He's very diligent when he works towards anything. Ambition because he knows where he's headed to, and brilliance is because he's done it and proved his mettle in his life again and again and again. And this is not because of his professional career that I'm talking about, but this is because of a quote that I found on his LinkedIn, and obviously a conversation that we had previously. But this is the quote that I want to read out to everyone. It says, "Give me a problem with a system, and I shall solve it for you. Give me another, and I will question the architecture. Give me the third, and I shall build you a new one." Isn't it beautiful, right? Think about a developer who questions the architecture. Think about a developer who wants to build a new one. So here is my man that we all were waiting to talk to, Viraj. Over to you, man, Viraj. How you feeling, man, today? Welcome. Welcome to the
Hey
podcast.
guys, really wonderful to be part of such a community. Not the first time you guys are making me feel like a celebrity. So thanks for that. And yeah, just wonderful to have free flowing conversations with all of you, open to questions from you, from the audience. Yeah, let's take it that way.
Perfect, Viraj. Perfect. Yeah. So, Viraj, we start from the beginning, and I would want to know, and our audience would want to know, how was young Viraj as a child? Were you interested in computers? How did we all have a certain bunch of dreams. Some of us look at the satellite going to Mars and dream that we'll be an astronaut, right? Some of us think of it elsewise, right? So, what do you think? How were you as a kid?
Right. I was extremely curious, extremely naughty and mischievous. And I asked a lot of questions, right? Right from childhood. My mother got fed up of it. My father was very supportive for some reason, but my mother got fed up of it. My teachers got fed up of it. My peers got fed up of it. And at some point, I used to question if asking the questions is the right thing to do socially, right? But then, in when I was like around standard 8 or 9, I asked a question to a physics professor who was visiting my school to give some lecture, right? And some other guy just stood up, maybe trying to get attention. He was like, "Hey, Viraj, can you ask these questions later? You are disturbing the entire classroom." It made sense in a way. It was mostly to put me down, but the physics professor, although seemingly annoyed by my questions, he retaliated saying, "One who asked the question is a fool only for that minute, one who doesn't ask is a fool for the entire lifetime, right? Again, quoting him. And that left a very deep impact on me. And yeah, I mean, this doesn't define my childhood, but just like the few highlights of my childhood. So,
Perfect, perfect, perfect. A lot of learnings from your physics teacher. But yeah, I've generally seen people who are curious, right? Who want, who have that spark in them. Like curiosity is something that you have, right? You cannot, you build it over time. You read, you become curious about it. Now, I want to understand, where did this curiosity build up in computer science?
right. So I was fascinated by the world of computers. I was an avid gamer, right?
Yeah.
All the games that you can think of, most of the good games you could think of that were available for PC. I've played most of those. Game of Age of Empires, Age of Mythology, GTA, Project IGI, just for the audience to connect to me. So I've played all of those, and it really fascinated me, right? And I was brought up at a time where I could see the magic starting to happen with the advent of mobile phones, advancements in the PCs that we had, and all of those things, and even gaming consoles. It really fascinated me as a child. In standard 6, I built an entire website for my school. It was new for them, just on HTML, CSS, and a couple of other technologies. And it was huge. And I'd hosted it for free. I got I got access to a remote server, and then I hosted it for free. I got a very ugly looking domain name for it, because back then domain names, you still had to buy domain names, right? So I did all of that, and I got a lot of commendation for that. And with that sort of helped give a boost to my motivation, and that brought in the developer inside me. I started exploring technologies, how I can build these things better. uh, and a few years later down the line, before I joined my college, towards the fag end of my school, right? I One of my uncles, paternal uncles, he's a like finance big shot. He's a market guru, and then he was planning to come up with his own website, fintech website, right? Wealth Builders. I still remember the name. Wealth Builders was the name, and then he asked me to create an application for him. So I did come up with an application. It wasn't very good. It wasn't very good looking and all of those stuff, but still a very effective one, right? I also integrated it with a couple of no, I wouldn't say payment gateways, but a couple of ways to record payments and do all of those stuff, right? So that again boosted the uh, developer, like that. That definitely lead to some kind of boost to the developer instincts in me, right? And then
Got it.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's how the developer inside me came out alive.
Oh man, it's like really, really rare to find kids. Now I also remember there were a few folks who were running around to build my school website. I don't know where they are right now, but kudos, man, kudos to. And this is your instinct, right? You wanted to build something, you went ahead, chased your goal. So kudos, yeah. You also told me about leading sports in your school, right? In the final 3 years of your school, I believe it was 8th, ninth, and 10th, when you were in the school, and post that you moved to Kota. So, also a person who believes in a lot of leadership skills. Can you talk about how those 3 years into sports and how sports has helped you throughout?
Correct. That's a very interesting question. Goes back to a phase in my life that I hate and love very deeply, right? So, like you are aware, most of the people watching this may not be aware. I was bullied a lot, right? And the bullying part defines a majority of my childhood. But when I also used to lead the teams in sports and all. So, and there was an incident where we had moved to a different school, DPS Arkepuram. I was representing my school there, and so there, when we had to go talk on the stage, right? What I realized was, even though I don't love these people, my teammates, I still have to have a strong footing and speak in a cordial way, and I have to represent them, right? So inside my head, I was in that split. dude, I don't love these people. Most of them have played a part in bullying me. But like, because I'm leading the team now, something, organically came out from me, commending them, appreciating them, and just standing out for them, right? So this is I mean, I wouldn't articulate it this way for the real life management that happens today, right? Today managers are deeply passionate about, at least the good manager are deeply passionate about the people who look up to them and the reporting, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to bring out is that management, if you have to become a good leader, you have to get rid of all your selfish thoughts. So yourself has to be the last person in your head when you plan to take up leadership or a management role.
Perfect, perfect, man. Now, coming on to the 2 years that we both as engineers love a lot, and these are our quota days, right? Quota and engineers go hand in hand. What were your learnings from the 2 years that you spent in quota, right? It can be about fun. It can be about exploring a different side of yourself. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. See, ironically, I loved Kota, right? Those were my most fun years. Not many people would relate to it, but the reason I loved it was I never used to like uh, get too involved into studying, right? Like we were talking the other day, I was somehow blessed, by some gods on retaining memory, and I used to study. If I studied even for a couple of hours, I used to retain most of it, right? And I knew the right way of studying, and that really worked out for me. So in those 2 years of quota, I was always in the top batch. So I was in resonance, and resonance had like 120 batches. I was always in the A1 or A2, right? There was an and those exams used to happen every few months to change your batch, right? So that's a very common practice. So once
Right.
I got promoted to the top tier batch, which is even above A1, which is only for top 30, right? And it was crazy. I was surrounded by folks who were just about studying, who were like ultra nerds. And that did not feel like home. A1, A2 felt more like home because they're the people, excel in studies as well as they, sort of uh, like, I wouldn't say excel, but they indulged in different extracurricular activities as well. And they derived a lot of fun from it. So I deliberately flunked an exam, the next exam, to get back to A1, A2. And so until 10th, I was very antisocial. I was bullied a lot, and I hardly had friends, which is very unfortunate because I feel those are formative years, and having friends, especially during those years, right? It really boosts your confidence and gives you a perspective of life. But now, retrospectively looking back at it, I think not having friends, getting bullied the way I was, I think that had led to this confidence and a lot of other things as well, right? So, but in Kota, the point that I was trying to talk about, in Kota, it was a complete 360 degree. So, like I told you, I was into sports and I hardly studied, but I was still able to retain the position in the top batches, right? So that felt very unusual to my peers, right? There, everybody was like, "Hey, this is not somebody from among stars; he's somebody special." I mean, I'm thinking that's what they must have felt. And they organically got attracted to me, in a friendly way. So I had a
Got
lot
it.
of years in Kota. And I never expected that. That was like a bang opposite from my experience until 10. So I really enjoyed Kota. I did a lot of stuff I'm not proud of as well. But just to sum up, I think those were like two of the most fun years of my life. So
Glad, man, glad. With such a, like, I wouldn't want to say bad, but with such a not good childhood, you need something to counterbalance those years before your college life, right? College is also not that bad, but again, coming back to the school tenure of it, obviously, I'm glad you had fun. You could explore a different side of yourself. Now, coming from Kota to college, like, right, being a niche student, as you said, A1, A2 are the cream students who are aimed towards IIT, who are taught differently. Like these batches are polished differently, right? So, how did college life treat you? And uh, like you told me that you didn't quite get into the college that you wanted to, right? So how was it? Was it a disappointment on your end? And how did you deal with it? And yeah, just tell us something about your college life.
There's a very good life learning from that, right? So like I told you, I was that we can derive from that. I was always excelling in quota, right? I was amongst the top tier when it came to the coaching institute, and even in my 11th 12th, right, in the school. But I still did not get the IIT that I wanted. In fact, I am not from an IIT, right? I did get a bad rank. I was getting computer science into an IIT, but that IIT wasn't in the top 10, or maybe not even top 12, whatever, right? But the learning there is, so all these, like, not studying enough but still trying to still like getting to retain the top spot, or one of the top spots, that led to a lot of overconfidence in me, a lot of toxic overconfidence in me, right? And towards the second year in quota, I was like, even if I don't study, I'm going to crack any exam I want. And that's how toxic I became for myself, right? And my parents, they tried to coach me, guide me, that you know what, people of your age, they study so much, they are so dedicated. But my dedication was completely missing, right? And I suffered for it. I had to pay the price for it for the right reasons. I could not secure a top spot, but and that really hit me hard. That was the first life lesson in quota, right? That I had actually gotten practically. That hit me really hard. And I had like 4 months between the IIT exam and the Odisha J exam, right? So I am a graduate from a government college in Odisha, and for you get there through Odisha J. It's a state level J. Those 4 months, I tried to pick up whatever I had lost on the way, right? And uh, luckily enough for me, I was able to secure a rank in the top 50s, top 60s, right? And I'm not from any category. I'm a general category student, just putting that out. But I was able to do that. And so I got, a top spot in the college. And yeah, so that is what happened after quota before I got into college. And to talk about my college life, see, the college was shit. I feel loyal towards the college, right? I will always give back to the college in whatever way I
Yeah,
can. I'm
yeah.
an alumni member, but the college was shit. I learned no practical lesson from the college. The teachers, they were there just for the sake of formality, right? They are not real teachers. I will I will talk about real teachers, real mentors in a while. But the college had no impact on me, right? Neither socially, neither scholastically, nor in any way. They did not lead to any boost in my career. All the job offers that I got was solely on the basis of me reaching out or through pool campuses, but not directly by the college. So college year, so the college life, nothing really eventful came out of that, except that I was a popular kid in college, and I had some fancy stories. But other than that, nothing meaningful came out of it.
Got it, got it, got it. Cool. That's perfect. Yeah. A lot of times, even we also feel that education system can be tweaked more, but the rate at which it is being tweaked is something that we are a bit doubtful about. But yeah. So coming back to your journey, how did you land up in Flipkart? So what was the company? A campus recruit? Were you a campus recruit? What happened exactly?
Right. Now we'll get
Yeah,
to the teaser, huh?
yeah,
So the teaser, I'm talking about an event, right? Let's start from there. So this company, I really want to name it, but I am trying to be as discreet as possible. But this company, it was a dream company for my college, right? It supposedly was paying the highest to the, like, wherever it came for campuses, right? It
yeah,
was paying the highest, in at least in my cluster of colleges, right?
yeah.
So it came for a pool campus. A lot of colleges registered for that pool campus, and I managed to clear all the rounds except the last one. So in the last one, like I've spoken about in the teaser, I saw all of us. We see this person bypassing all the other rounds, coming straight for the last round. Okay. And all of us were very perturbed by that. We were very disturbed. It felt really unfair. And I was very vocal about it. I went to the HR. I was like, what is going on? We had like, ये हम लोग के मेहनत का असर है. All of us, you see here, we have gone through a lot to reach this last stage, right? Through grueling rounds. And so it started with a simple, like a very simple kind of an approach to the HR. That approach turned, or some questions to the HR that turned into a confrontation. That confrontation soon turned into commotion. And it reached a stage where the HR threatened me, saying that in a very crude and rude manner, saying that I'm the HR of this company. You have no idea what I can do to your career. That's what her words were. And this is, I'll come to the connotations it carries, but those were her exact words. It was like not just with me. She was there. Hundreds of students were like sort of around. Some were part of that commotion, but she was audible to most of the students out there. And she was like, I will make sure you don't get this offer. And I'm going to impact your career. And back then, we did not really realize how corporates work, right? We thought, okay, maybe she has this kind of power. I was still not ready to bow down. I did not care about the offer, honestly. I'd already gotten an offer from Mu Sigma as a data scientist. I did not care about this offer, although it was paying me much more than Mu Sigma. And so I was not ready to give up. But then the coordinator from the interview, not the interview coordinator, but the coordinator, the placement coordinator from my college, he comes up to me and he tells me that, hey, Viraj, you know what, if you're going to behave like this, you are not just going to lose out the offer for yourself. All the people from your college are going to lose out the offers as well. Do not engage in this behavior. Although he knew that I was doing the right stuff. And, something really broke inside me. I was like, dude, I'm fighting not for me, I'm fighting for all of us. I'm asking the right questions. Then why don't I have your support? Is it only about the money? So those were all the internal thoughts that I was having. And I was just like, I could not find the right words to either tell him or to the HR. So there, I did not want to do it at all. I had to go to the HR, apologize, and I got back. I was feeling very ashamed of apologizing to somebody who's clearly at the wrong, right?
Yeah. Dejected is the word, right? We feel
Yes,
dejected. Yeah. But
that was the greatest moment in my life so far. And a great life lesson is due. But let me first describe it, right? So a lot of, really smart people from my college, from other pool campuses, they got the offer and the joining was next month. I did not get the offer. Mu Sigma was still about 5-6 months to go for the joining. Right after the joining date for this company, a unicorn comes in, right? And like it was, the brand value was crazy back then. Even now it is, but back then everybody wanted to work with this unicorn, which was Flipkart, right? And was offering a package which was much more than we had ever envisaged. We did not hear of those kind of packages, at least, we thought only from IMs are getting paid like that.
yeah,
So it was again a pool campus. I'm not even sure why Flipkart chose to come to Odisha to hire in that cluster. But a lot of good colleges, where the IIT Bhubaneswar was there, our college was there. It is one of the top colleges in Odisha, the college that I am from. CET, it's now called as OUTR. It has now become a technical university. It still bags the top spot in Odisha colleges, right? So there were around a lot of colleges, right? Regional colleges, state level colleges, and thousands of students, thousands or maybe even tens of thousands of graduates wanting to grab that job. Trust me, towards the last round, I was the only one present in the last round, and I got the offer. This was all over the newspapers, and I got the offer at 3 a.m. in the night. And until 12:31 a.m., the interviewers were still there, right, in the college campus. I called my uncle, my Tauji, he used to stay in Bhubaneswar. I called my Tauji, I was like, come to pick me up at 3 a.m. in the morning, early hours of the morning. And I was the only one who backed the offer. And it was all over my social media. A couple of regional newspapers covered it. And I realized one thing: if you truly deserve something, right, nothing in the world can stop you from getting there. And this is a great life lesson for all of us here. If you truly deserve something, if you have worked hard for something, trust me, not even nature can prevent you from getting there. It's only a matter of time and nothing else. Hey, are we still live? I think there's a glitch. Give us a couple of minutes.
Hey Viraj, Anmol is joining back in a minute. Sorry.
Sure.
Yeah, man, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
You
What
know,
happened?
yeah.
Yeah. Rashmi, are we still live?
Yeah, we are right.
Yeah. Sorry, man. Sorry.
So I hope you're able to grab some part of it, the life
Yeah,
lesson.
yeah. I was with you till you told your Tauji at 3 to come pick you up, and I missed that one line. So if you can go ahead again once.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, the life lesson was that if you truly deserve something and if you have really worked up for something, no force in this world can prevent you from getting there. And it's only a matter of time. So
But kudos to your patience, man. What it takes is it takes a lot of patience, right? Because to sit back and to see something wrong happening in front of your eyes and then to wait for that opportunities is the courage that it takes, right? So really proud of you, man. Really proud of you to have taken it so positively, and possibly that is because we are that is because of that we are listening to all these learnings right now, man. So kudos, yeah, kudos once again. I told you that day also while listening to this, I had literal goosebumps. So yeah, now to get away from the serious stuff, let's play a quick rapid fire, huh? And rapid fire, matlab, you have to be very quick, huh? You don't have to think is the entire point of it. And
right.
basically, you can tell once you choose, you can obviously give me a reason why, right?
Hmm.
So if you have to pick between a better culture or a better brand name,
Better culture.
obviously we know the why. Hire a person with a better soft skill, or hire a person with better computer skills but not that good soft skills.
Better computer skills.
Okay. And why so? Matlab, what is your funda behind the soft skill part of it? Yeah.
So you can always mentor a person into like enhancing the soft skills, right?
Yeah.
But to get a hang of technical skills, one has to go through that journey by himself or herself, right? A lot of that journey by himself or herself. They have to have dedication in learning about things and trying to implement it in real life, right? So much of that journey has to be lived by that person. And after that, if soft skills are an issue, we can definitely coach the person to develop soft skills.
Perfect. Remote or working from office?
Hybrid.
Okay. Now no one can work from office full time.
I think working from office really boosts the productivity, but not all
Yeah.
the days, right? There are days in the week that you want to meet up your peers and just build magical stuff. So I think hybrid is the future.
Got it. Overall growth or growth in one particular role?
Overall,
Gen AI or blockchain?
that's a tough one, but
Yeah.
AI.
Perfect. I knew this last one was gonna be a tough one for you to crack, but it's okay. Now, coming to the next question, how did your role transform in Flipkart? You were telling about the first 3 years of Flipkart, right?
Correct.
How you were working alone and you're not working in a team. So how did that role particularly transformed in Flipkart? And what do you think was the lesson over there for leadership, right? So yeah, the floor is all yours.
Right. So I was a pure IC back at Flipkart. The first formative years of Flipkart, I was a pure IC. For the unversed who may not be aware of what IC stands for, IC is a jargon used in the industry for individual contributors. So I was a pure IC back then, and some of it came from like sort of a superiority complex. For the most part of it, I used to get bored by the banal talks that peers used to have, right, back in those years. And most of the conversation used to be over smoking and all those stuff. And I uh, did not condone of smoking, right? I mean, I don't find anything wrong with it if others want to do it, but I just wasn't into that. So I missed out on a lot of informal conversations because of these things. On top of that, I was subjected to a lot of office politics in the first few years. And I was actually a victim of office politics. I built the best stuff in those years, but I never got recognized for it. And that's not the office politics I'm talking about. Just to give you an example, and by the way, all of this changed when the right mentor, the right manager came in. So I'm going to emphasize on having access to the right mentor, be it in the form of manager or whoever in a while. But let's pause that. Let's talk about the politics. That's interesting, right? So
Yeah.
I worked with a lot of managers, all right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the team that I was a part of, that had a very toxic culture, right? People used to bitch about other people to higher ups, not just managers, even higher ups, and do all those kind of stuff, which is still normal. That is not politics. I'll give you an example of the kind of politics that I was subjected to. In the third year, when I was due for promotion, my manager had soft conveyed it to me. It wasn't a hard confirmation. It was a soft, she had just soft conveyed to me that, you know what, you're getting promoted. The entire team knew about it. The senior most member in that team, who I never used to get along with, right? He used to write shitty code, and he just wasn't the right kind of, and he was actually a convert from a QA to an SD. And not, I don't have anything against that, but I'm just talking about that it was very easy for him to grab that senior engineer position because he was converting from a QA engineer role. So back then, Flipkart was doing away with QA roles, and everybody were being converted to SGETs, right? And unfortunately, he became the most senior engineer. And because of his practices, his vision, where he used to come from, I used to have a lot of conflict with him. So this guy, when he realized that I'm about to get promoted, and because he had a beef with me, he sent out a long email to the VP of my team, not even the director, direct to the VP, writing a lot of things there, right, about me, why Viraj should not be promoted. So the VP was fairly new. There was an internal restructuring that had just happened. The VP was fairly new. When the VP got that message, again, a very immature thing to do is take calls, right? He just took a call to roll back my promotion. This is all for real. There are millions way to validate this. I still have I still have some proofs of those kind of conversations I had. So, but this was a very toxic culture, right? The next week when I went to my manager, we were having the conversation, I was literally screaming at my manager. Inside that room, I remember I was literally screaming, and my eyes were all wet. I was overwhelmed with emotions, right? It felt very unfair, and it felt like, something is being snatched away from me. And I was about to get promoted to SE3, and then I was like, this is not done. How can you guys do this? And this guy's at fault, and this is very immature, all those kind of things, right? So this guy, it's very hard to believe. I'm just an SE3, he's a senior manager. I'm screaming at him. Probably the people outside are listening to all of these. He could have just taken it to his ego, and he could have just taken some action. This guy silently listened to all my rant for those 45 minutes to 1 hour, right? And this is a great leadership lesson I'm about to emphasize. And this guy was the first mentor who changed things for me at Flipkart. He listened to everything. And then obviously he had his own way of making me aware of certain things. And there's one thing he told me, that you should be lucky that you are getting subjected to office politics at such a young age. His name was Mahabaleshwar. He's a senior director. Like he leads the data science team at Flipkart right now. But this is a way for me to express my gratitude towards that person, right? And
Obviously.
when he came in,
Yes.
he brought in a fresh wave. Managers before him, I'd worked with 4 managers before him. Managers before him were sort of like, they had that they had a tendency to become, to stay popular with the team, which is very toxic. You, like, if you are popular with everybody, that means you're doing something wrong. And managers before that, they had that kind of an attitude. But this guy came in with a, fresh wave of energy, learnings, and the kind of growth I got under him, not in terms of promotion, career growth, whatever. I'm talking just the absolute growth in terms of being an engineer, all of those things. Those were tremendous, right? And after that, I continued building great stuff, and I started. So before that point, I was behaving like a victim of office politics. After that point, I started participating in office politics, and that is very important. And this can trigger all the wrong nerves in the people watching, but you cannot avoid office politics. So the best way to deal with that is to engage yourself. And we'll talk about it. If time permits, we'll talk about it. There's a non-toxic way of doing such things, but we'll discuss about it. And so
Yeah.
I built great stuff. I worked with multiple teams, with multiple managers. And in one word, if I could sum up my stint, I am okay in 2 words. I am extremely grateful, not because of the people I worked with, not because of all those bad experiences, but because I learned a lot of things. And I feel extremely fortunate to be part of this unicorn in that time where it was, sort of running its fastest race and winning it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, extremely grateful to my stint at Flipkart.
Kudos, man. Kudos. A person to say this in front of a camera, it takes a lot of courage. But that's fair, yeah, that's fair. When you can't avoid something, I think you have to be smart enough to participate and slightly get your own way in it. Not negative, but yeah, positive only. So perfect, yeah. A lot from your Flipkart stint, a lot about Flipkart. Now, how did Toast happen, and what exactly are you built here at Toast? What is your role like at Toast? Something, a few nuggets about Toast.
Yeah. So right now I'm an engineering manager at Toast, and I manage a few charters in the fintech domain. And so Toast happened when my current mentor, who's also my manager, he's the director of engineering. I got in touch with him, and he took a leap of faith, because I wasn't an engineering manager before this. I was a tech lead, right? I was about to become an EM in Flipkart, but that would have still taken a few months. But this person took a leap of faith in me. And from day one, again, I cannot emphasize how fortunate I am to have been, getting access to such mentors during the last few years. He's an amazing mentor, and much of what I'm able to echo, I derive from his learnings, from his experience, right? And I hope he's watching this thing. But this is my way of telling you, you are amazing. And so yeah, this is what my stint in Toast is about. Toast in general is like, if people are not aware of what Toast does, uh, Toast is an enabler, end-to-end enabler for the hospitality industry, right? It's a very big entity in terms of its domain, right, which is hospitality in the States and a couple of other countries. And right now it's growing at a great pace. It's building a lot of new products. It's investing into a lot more. And I'm really excited to be associated with this brand right now.
Perfect, perfect. Yeah, a great way you found out to thank your mentors. I must say this, but again, yeah, I also believe very strongly that our mentors are the ones who show us the right path, and they do it very selflessly, right? They don't have their own personal motives or anything behind it. And as we were discussing that day, right, mentorship should be a must and should be free for all, right? So yeah, that is something that we talk about later, and obviously I want you to be a mentor for our community, right? But apart from that, now I would want to know about the hiring end. That how do you hire developers? When you look at hiring someone, what is the first thing that you look at the person and say, yeah, this is my guy? Or what is that one thing that you say, that you see in a person and you say, no, I cannot hire that person? So what are the yeas and the nays when you hire someone? And what is the problem that you face while hiring a resource? Just these two.
Got it. So I wouldn't be talking about toast hiring process, right? I would just be talking about like how I look at it, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
There are
yeah, yeah.
different standards for hiring, different teams hire in different ways, and there is no single fit, like single hiring process that fits the bill for everybody, right? But in general, right, for engineers who are just joining out of college, fresh out of college, we look for how passionate they are to solve problems. We look for basic acquaintanceship with technologies, how well they understand something, and how well they are able to implement. So it's not about the span of technologies, and this is a problem that many of us face, right? And this is an issue. We think that if we are out of college, we have to understand a lot of things, a lot of data structures, a lot of algorithms, and we would face questions, for all of these, across all of these, right? But that is what hardly happens. A good interviewer will not judge you on what you don't know. He or she will judge you on what you know and how well you know, right? Because most of what we know after college, we don't get to implement those as is in the corporate environment. We have to go through our own induction process. We have to learn a lot of new things. And college acquaintanceship, like college level acquaintanceship, hardly helps engineers implement things in the corporate industry, right? So it doesn't make sense for us to expect them to know, the nuances of technology or whatever.
Yeah.
So for the fresh engineers, I think just checking how good they are at the basics and how passionate they are, that is what we should be doing, right? And then as we go higher towards senior engineer or an architect role, then we definitely look for one competencies, technical competencies, because see, as an architect, it's your job to be aware of multiple technologies, the pros and cons of each, the access patterns that are associated with each of these things, right? The edge cases, all the other implications, right? So that can only come with knowledge and experience. So if we have to hire a good decision maker at these levels, we'll obviously look for people who have expertise, right?
Yeah.
And across all these funnels, soft skills and cultural fitment are also very important. Now, cultural fitment is a very subjective thing that is subjective to the kind of environment a team is, or like a kind of ecosystem a team is bred in, or the vision that the team may have, right?
Yeah.
But in general, cultural fitment means how easily you are to collaborate, like how easy it would be for other peers of yours, direct or indirect peers, to collaborate with you. And if obviously with under guidance, if you have access to certain resources, how well you would be able to use those resources. It's not about how good you are at a particular language or how good you're able to express yourself. Obviously, those will get you brownie points, but then those are always coachable competencies, right? So, yeah, that's about the non-tech aspects of hiring.
Got it. Got it. Got it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was describing all of it in a very free-flowing manner, right? I may not have been able to answer some of your specific questions. So if you wanted to answer those, please feel free to shoot those specifics.
Yeah, yeah, I'll do that, yeah, man. But no, as of now, I think you answered everything. And one beautiful thing that I derive out of it is that, uh, like you don't have to be those. You don't have to know those Larry languages, right? It's not about that. It's about your skill, how good you are at that particular skill, and I completely agree with that. So now my last question to you for this evening is that, do you have any wisdom nuggets for all those who are watching you right now? Anything that you want to summarize? Anything that you want to tell these guys? A lot of folks that are watching you are 1 2 years down in their journey, so they've started their tech journey, right? And how do you want them to navigate their career so that they can get the best out of you? So yeah.
Yeah. A lot of things, but if I have to think of the top few, I think be very curious, right? The industry and the technologies are moving at a very, very fast pace. If you don't keep up, you are going to lose out, right? I'm not saying your jobs will go away or whatever, although that is imminent to happen. Next 15 years, most of the jobs are going to go away. And I would love to have a discussion about that, but not that your jobs will go away in the like immediate future, but you know, you even if you want to pursue anything, irrespective of whether you have a job or not, you have to be aware and you have to be an expert in the tools, in the technologies that can enable you to reach your goals, right? The goals that you set for yourself or for your company, right? Even if you want to be an entrepreneur, you should be aware of technologies, of the implication of technologies, so that you can make the best choices, right? And with the pace that this entire ecosystem is moving, I think being very curious is the key. And just curiosity will not help you. You also have to validate your learnings through proof of concepts, right? So hypothetically, let's say it's about generative AI. I was fortunate enough to be working on a POC right now.
Yeah.
So just being aware of generative AI is not going to help you, right? Most of us can just open up a blog, read about it, and then we can tell ourselves, okay, you know what, I know what generative AI is all about, but that's not the truth. You have to actually invest time in validating your learnings through practical application. Build a product, build an application, see how well it is able to adapt, see how well you're able to refine it. And only then will you be able to truly say that, yes, I'm aware of this technology, right? So be very curious and stay abreast with the latest technologies. Second, you should have a lot of integrity, right? I got this from my mentors, my coaches, my managers in the form of managers and teachers, right? Some of my teachers. Integrity is very important, right? Integrity means a lot of things in different contexts, but it just means staying honest to yourself and to the ones who look up to you, right? And that also implies that, and I'm not bluffing here, if you want to be a true leader, you have to think about the team and the business first and then about yourself.
Yeah.
You cannot be a true leader if you don't do this. Third, storytelling and selling. This is very, very important.
Yeah.
From what our Vedas have taught us, from what Bhagavad Gita has taught us, they are all basically a bunch of life lessons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why are those so effective? Because they are all in the form of stories, right? Anything mundane can you can use that to hit the bullseye if you wrap a story around it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
storytelling is very important, and that also helps you with selling things, selling yourself. I mean, yourself as in, I mean, your competencies and grabbing those opportunities, right? So
Yeah.
if you don't already do this, start that, because at some point in your career, whether you are an entrepreneur, whether you are an aspiring manager, or even if you are an engineer, maybe not as much to the early engineers, but as you rise up, you will definitely need to make an impact. And the best way and the most effective way to make impact is by storytelling. Obviously, there has to be meat in it. It need not be a false story, but I mean, that impact is uh, like you get my point, right? So
Yeah. 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 So we in marketing we say that products are not sold, stories are sold, right? And the sole reason of stories being said, the people buying stories is because they like stories, right? We Indians don't like uh, a stone, but we like a symbol of love that we call diamond, right? Again, a beautiful story stitched together, right? So again, yeah, I completely agree to it. Own a skill, hone it, and just uh, practice your skills. And yeah, I these were the best learnings I would say that I've had in quite some time. And obviously, yeah, it's always great talking to you. Thank you so very much for your time. It's been a really good conversation, and apologies for that small miss in the between. I don't know how it happened. Yeah. But yeah, I hope you had fun. I hope the audience had fun. I hope we all go back home learning a lot of things. And I hope all your mentors just see and are really proud of who you are and who you will become in the upcoming years. So kudos to that, man. Thank you so much once again. And thank you so much, audience. Thank you so much for joining in. This is Viraj and this is Anmol. And currently we are signing off from the On-Court Conversation. Yeah. Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
guys. See you around.
See you guys. See you. Thank you.